So we talked about the trailer last week about Avatar: The Last Airbender, um, the live action trailer, but a lot of new information has come out in recent days because the creators of the live action show have just been, I guess, they've been doing interviews and talking about how they've adapted things. Um, I'll just kind of go through what they've been saying. Basically, well, the first one I have here is they felt they had to find a balance um, for the live action series where it could appeal to the original fans of the show and to people who like Game of Thrones. Um,
Okay.
that's an interesting choice. I don't feel like the Game of Thrones and Avatar: The Last Airbender really correlate in my mind. I think they realistically want to make this like a grand adventure, maybe, or like a grand kind of a showcase of something. I don't know. It's interesting. Maybe they just want the popularity of Game of Thrones. I don't know. And but basically they said hold on, where is it? So Albert Kim says the series couldn't just appeal to kids, but must appeal to people who are big fans of Game of Thrones while being true to the DNA of the original series. So that statement pisses me off even more. I'll say that because the show, I've showed the show to like adults, and they who had never seen it as a kid, and they absolutely love it. Like they think it's like one of the best shows of all time. And I'm like, so this show is clearly not just for kids, like, and I think to say that you have to change things and adapt it because it's a kid show and a cartoon just means you didn't get it at all. So more there. They basically have changed things now about Sokka and Katara. Sokka, basically, they've taken out the fact that he started off as a sexist character. They felt like just certain things didn't translate well from a cartoon to live action, but it's not like the show ever agreed with him being a sexist character. It clearly showed like he had to change and learn things that he thought were true that really weren't. So I think you're taking a lot of character development away from him. And then with Katara, they're apparently like taking away, there's like a bunch of gender issues and like roles that she had that they kind of want to take away from her. I don't know exactly what that means. Basically, they just said the quote is certain areas of Katara's character have also been removed, including some gender issues that didn't quite translate from the cartoon. So I think maybe that means like her being like somewhat of a mom to the group. Maybe her being forced to be a healer at first by the Northern Water Tribe was removed. But I just think like that in itself is a great conflict and like truly brings her to the point of like she's going to be and wants to be a great waterbender rather than just being a healer. And yeah, I think if you remove like the fact that she's a mother type figure to the group, I think that's a huge loss. I mean, especially for Sokka and Katara's like development. There's clear things down the road where like Katara needs to be like a mom, and if you remove that, you're just changing the show fundamentally. So those are definitely the big things. No, the other really huge thing is that they basically decided to, at the very beginning of the show, give Aang this vision of what will happen at the end of the season. And so at that point, he's like, we have to get to the Northern Water Tribe. Whereas in the cartoon, he wanted to like go to a bunch of things that he wanted to like experience and have fun with. But like that journey is so important to the first season, and to strip all of the things he does outside of like the real like main quest, I just think is such a mistake. Like you're stripping this show down to like the basics and stripping characters down to like boring versions of themselves, where it just doesn't sound appealing at all to like any original fan, I feel. So yeah, that's my big rant. That's all the information. I don't know if you had heard any of that.
So I had read about the stuff with Sokka. I didn't know about the stuff with Katara. I'm still a little confused as to what it could be that they're alluding to, which might be what you're talking about.
Right, it could be. Right.
And, the Game of Thrones thing, I agree with everything that you're saying. Like if you watched it and you thought it needs to appeal to
like an adult audience,
then you've obviously missed something, because there's lots of people who have watched that show as an adult and love it.
Yeah.
So I'll say, hopefully, the Game of Thrones-ness about it is they want to make it, these big empires and this civilization and this like dramatic quest. And you talking about Aang having this vision that wasn't originally there, and it was Aang that wanted to do things as opposed to needing to go somewhere and be on a quest.
Right.
Is where I'm feeling like the Game of Thrones-ness about it. It makes it more serious, which is, it seems like that's a lot of what the trailer was like, making this world more serious.
Yeah.
So, I can only hope that this adaptation that idea it works. But the stuff with Sokka, so I thought about it when I was reading it, and I don't want to come across or seem like, hey, I want sexist characters on screen, right?
No, but yeah, ones that realize their mistakes, I think, is such a powerful like piece of writing and a powerful like piece of media to show that.
Right.
And I think you just getting rid of that is, I mean, I'll let you. I already said that, but
right.
It's just a mistake. Yeah.
Yeah, like even like I was thinking about it, and by the way, there's like articles that were saying like whole Reddit threads dedicated to Sokka's misogyny and sexism, and then I click on the said Reddit thread, and people are in it like quote unquote whole Reddit threads where it was like, I don't know, one or two things, and I was like, great journalism. and look, I get it. We live in a time where like we don't want to see that sexist behavior is there,
like rewarded, or right.
But I feel like people are like, it cannot exist in media, and I'm like, but it happened. First, it still happens, and to have a character who starts off one way and then by the end has changed is something that for some people is like gonna be a like either a wake up call or just like, hey, like I was wrong. And I remember that being a part of the show, and I feel like it is an important part of Sokka, because he was like, no, I'm the guy, I got to do the thing, and I'm like, and then he like changed, and a lot of that came out of jealousy for not being like a waterbender and only being like a warrior, and like
but it changes, like it starts to change so fast, and like in the original cartoon, that it doesn't make sense. Like you would have only had to deal with like really sexist Sokka for like a few episodes, and then you get to Kyoshi Island and he meets the Kyoshi warriors, and he's like, oh yeah, you guys are actual like warriors, and you're better than I am, and you're women. So I don't know. It's such a lack of like understanding of the source material. It doesn't make me excited at all for the show. It makes me want to skip it way more than I did after watching the trailer. The trailer had me in the first half, but no, I am pretty upset of everything that they've been saying.
Yeah, I mean, unless they add some other interesting thing about Sokka's character, I would be curious to see what his character will be in this show, because it seems like that was a big part of it. But like maybe they'll just lean more into like being a comedic character, and that he wanted to be a waterbender, and like just being like dealing with him being like just the warrior, and like
I mean, like it's interesting because like it feels like they don't really get to that stuff with Sokka where like he finds his like true kind of like I don't know if I want to say purpose, but like he doesn't come into his own like combat wise until like season 3 of the show. And I don't know. I think if you like force that into season 1, it's I don't know. I just think you're losing a lot of that journey for him to get to like where he is in season 3. So I don't know. We'll see. We'll see what season 1 has in store for itself. I can't say this has been getting any good press as of recently, so who knows how well this is going to do in its first week or so. But
when does it come out again?
I think it might be this month.
I think
I can look it up real quick. Avatar: The Last Airbender live action. That is that's the animated show live action. That's still the animated show. I don't know. It's coming out in February, I think. So it's on Netflix. Here it is. February 22nd. Yeah. had to find the Wikipedia, but yeah. So in a few weeks it'll be out. Yeah, who knows? Who knows if I'll watch this thing? I really don't want to, but
I'll watch it.
Maybe I will for the podcast. Who knows?